Hey everybody, what's going on? Brendan Miller here, back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at fishing lure hacks. Some of these hacks look really cool. Some of them look a little weird. So I'm going to go ahead and hack these lures in studio right now, and then we're going to take them all out on the water, test them out, see what the action's like, maybe catch some fish with them, and then I will let you know which one I think is the best. One quick disclaimer, I did not come up with all of these hacks by myself. I am trying out some other ideas from other people, and I provided a list down in the description that provides links to the original creators of these fishing lure hacks. All right, so for the first hack, you're going to need the body of a beetle spin right here, as you can see. And then you're also going to need a Rapala Countdown. This is one of the smallest sizes of Rapala Countdown, very, very tiny little bait. And essentially what you do is you take your pliers and you break off the bill of this bait. I know, it's very painful. Oh man, that feels so wrong. Pull the bill off like so. You also take the split ring off, and then you literally just attach it to the body of your beetle spin. Instead of a jig head and a soft plastic, we put this little Rapala bait on here, and there you have it. A weird little beetle spin slash Rapala thing. This next fishing hack is one that I actually came up with myself. I haven't really seen this done before, and I thought it would be an interesting thing to test out. For this, you're going to need your favorite spinner. I love the Panther Martin, so I decided to use this. This is a 1/4 ounce Panther Martin right here. And then I also have some VMC wide gap hooks. I believe these are a size 1. What I'm going to do is remove the treble hook off this bait and attach this wide gap hook to the end instead. So I'm going to do that. Just grab a pliers, going to remove the little weight here and pop the hook off. Boom. Now we have a Panther Martin with this little swim bait trailer on the back. And not only that, it's totally weedless. So you can throw this into weeds or heavy cover and you're not going to get snagged up nearly as much. I am very eager to see what this looks like in the water and whether or not this will actually work. I'm really excited for this hack actually. If this does work, again, it's going to be really nice because you can put all kinds of soft plastics on the back of this. You could put a curly tail jig, you could put a little crawfish, you could put a little worm. I chose to go with a little swim bait just because I think it matches the overall presentation of this spinner. Again, I'm excited to try this out and see what it looks like in the water. This next hack is one that I call the half jig, and this is one that I personally just came up with. Again, I have not tested this out on the water yet, so I'm just shooting from the hip, but in theory, this sounds kind of like a cool idea. So what I have here is some silicone skirt. This is used for tying bass jigs and spinner baits. And what I did is I cut a little piece about this big, as you can see right there, and then I went ahead and folded it over on itself. As you can see right there, a nice little compact piece of skirt. Then what I did is I took a VMC Moonhead jig right here, which is a great jig. I pair it a lot with curly tail grubs. I took some super glue and I essentially just super glued this little bit of skirt onto the bottom part of the jig head. Now again, I want to specify, I glued it onto the bottom part of the jig head, not onto the shank of the hook. That way the shank of the hook is still open so I can thread soft plastics like the curly tail grub on. Once that is glued on, you can then put your favorite soft plastic. In this case, I got a rage tail grub on here, and there is the finished bait. It's a very unique looking bait. Again, like I said, it kind of looks like half a jig, except there is no silicone skirt on top. There's just a little bit of silicone skirt on the bottom and the curly tail right there. I'm curious what this is going to look like, what this profile is going to look like in the water. Again, it's not a full jig. It's kind of a half jig. Quick and dirty job. Again, like I mentioned, I glued the skirt onto the head, and that keeps the hook shank actually free so I can take plastic on and off without it balling up the silicone skirt right there. This is just a quick and dirty little hack. I'm curious to see what it looks like in the water. It might have an interesting look in the water. It might not. The next hack is for the Ned Rig. Now the Ned Rig is a very popular finesse rig that is used for finicky, smallmouth, spotted, and largemouth bass. It's very, very popular. And I saw a video online where a guy added a really cool modification to the Ned Rig. Again, I will link that video down in the description. The guy goes into way more detail as to how to build this rig out. I'm going to show you a quick overview of the rig itself. So the first thing you're going to need is one of these little blades right here. This is a little bit bigger one. I have some smaller ones that I'm actually going to use, but for showcase purposes, I'm going to show you this big one. You can find them in these little pre-rigged worm packs where there's like a worm, a little blade, and a bead. You can just pull the blade off there and it works really well. You can also go to some tackle retailers. Essentially what you do is you put this little blade onto a spring, maybe with a bead or a washer, and then you screw that spring into the back of your Ned Rig plastic, and then you have a really cool soft plastic with a little spinning blade on the back. And this is just going to help give the Ned Rig a little bit more vibration and a little bit more flash when you're working it along the bottom. Again, I will link a video in the description to the guy that came up with this. He has kind of a full breakdown of all the things you need to accomplish this, and he gives some helpful tips and insights. I am really excited to try out this little hack. I'm very interested to see whether or not this works and whether or not this improves the action of the already great Ned Rig. Very cool little hack. I like it. Okay, those are 4 hacks so far. Let's take these out in the water and test them again. I have not tested, I have not tried any of these hacks out, and I'm curious to see what they look like when I put them in the water. Alright guys, so I've had an opportunity to test out all of these hacks, and here are my thoughts. So starting off with the beetle spin with the little Rapala on it, I actually really like the way this looks under the water. The beetle spin puts off a nice bit of vibration, and the little Rapala itself has a nice little wobble from side to side. So I think this bait does look very cool under the water. Now, I did take this bait out and try to fish with it, and within like the first 5 minutes of fishing with it, I lost it. Lame. So I was not able to catch any fish with it. However, I do think it would be an effective bait. I don't know if this hack is going to be an absolute game changer, but if you're somebody who throws a lot of beetle spins and you want to switch it up and you like that little minnow profile, give it a shot. Next up, this weird little jig thing. Now, one thing I will say about this bait is that it does have a unique look in the water. I haven't really seen anything quite like it. It's kind of a hybrid, again, between a normal skirted jig and a traditional jig head and curly tail. I do like the profile. It's not nearly as bulky as a normal skirted jig. I don't know if this is going to be a revolutionary lure, but it certainly is fun to mess around with this stuff. Again, like I said, I like how low profile it is. It does have a unique look that I think a lot of fish haven't really seen before. So if you're somebody who likes to tinker around with tackle and mess with color combinations and customize baits, this is a fun way to do it. Okay, moving on to the inline spinner with the offset worm hook. I actually really like this combination. The cool thing about it is you're able to put all kinds of interesting soft plastics on the back of this spinner. I chose to go with little swim baits, and that added a really nice action to this bait. Now, I was a little bit worried about the hookup ratio with this bait. As you can see right here, I had no problem catching a couple of bass on it. Now, one thing that I will say about this combination is that it tends to pinwheel quite a bit, so I think if I was going to go back and adjust this, I would definitely add a little snap swivel or a little swivel to the front to prevent my line from twisting. But other than that, I really like this combination. This hack is going to be great not only for mixing and matching different soft plastics on the back of your spinner, but also keeping you snag free. The final hack that I want to talk about is my favorite hack out of all of them, and that is the little Ned Rig with the propeller on the back of the soft plastic. This is a magical combination. I absolutely loved the way this bait looked under the water. It's very, very cool. As you can see right here, the blade puts off a ton of action and vibration and flash, and you can even just throw this bait out and slow reel it in, and that little blade will just whir in the back. As you can see, this bait does catch fish. I was able to catch a sheephead and a little hybrid striped bass. Pretty sweet little combination, and the cool thing is you can do this to other soft plastics. Great way to add a little bit of vibration and flash to a subtle presentation. Like I said, the Ned Rig is a subtler presentation, but just adding that little extra flash and vibration, very, very cool. I want to give you guys a quick update before I end this video. You may have noticed that I have not posted many videos on the channel this year, and that is simply because I have been insanely busy. Life has been absolutely crazy. I've been working on other video projects. I started a separate disc golf channel, which has been a lot of fun, but the main reason why I haven't been posting much is because I am working on a documentary. More specifically, a fishing documentary. I am super excited about this project. I am currently in the middle of production right now, and I have to say it's some of my best work. I am super pumped to get this film finished and to share it with you guys, but that has been the reason why I have not been posting much, because every spare minute that I get, I am out on the water fishing and filming and even editing this massive fishing documentary. I'm super excited about it. I can't really tell you many details yet, but just know there's something big in the works. I'm super pumped about it, and that's the reason why I haven't been putting as much time into this channel. With that being said, I do have plans to continue to make content even through the winter, and I'm looking forward to that. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around. And more importantly, stay hooked. I'll see you later.